And we are back with another best of 3. We are in the losers bracket of the MSI ByuL Korea qualifier. Starting to the bottom left of map number 1 in this best of 3, we have ByuL. And all the way to the top right, cross position on the map, it is Stats with his funny snowman here. I think from Frozen. And, well, I personally never watched the movie. A lot of girls really like that and are like, oh, it's so cute. And I'm like always like, bah, 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 don't want to watch it. Might at some point. Actually, I like most of the Disney movies, but Frozen I haven't seen yet so far. As we have another best of 3, let me point out once again that the bars that you currently see to the right and the left side of the screen are just because I recently moved to Germany. Actually, just not even 48 hours ago, I came back to Germany. But some of my equipment is still not here, so I'm currently at a friend's place, hijacking his internet and living room, and because I'm still missing some of my equipment, we have that kind of problem. That's going to be resolved for future casts, so don't worry about it. But for now, we have to make do with it. I hope that it doesn't annoy you too much. My apologies for that. But I guess we're focusing on the game right now, and I hope that you can enjoy the games regardless. So for now, we have ByuL starting things off with gateway. Stats with the gateway first. ByuL starts things off with the hatch first against his opponent, scouting information already on the map. The probe, of course, also making sure that there's no early pool by ByuL. That's one of the things that you always want to point out as well, or to just make sure. And we already have ByuL in a position where he's like, it could be a cannon rush, it could be a cannon rush. So he's already starting to block the positions with a drone, commits 3 drones to the defense. Stats is going to be quite happy about that, but yeah, I can really see that all of those drones are just lingering around and waiting for the probe to make a move. But indeed, it is instead the Nexus before Cybernetics core that we see here for him. And that probe is just going to try and be annoying, but of course, with the timing, ByuL is already very well aware that there is most likely not going to be any kind of commitment to a cannon attack. Especially, of course, since Stats can't even go for that. He doesn't have a forge. The Overlord doesn't know that yet, though. To the top right, we have Stats with double gas taken. And, well, one of the things that I want to point out again is that we have also in the next game, or in the second loser bracket semifinal, a Terran versus Terran with Journey going up against Gumiho. That's going to be started later. Of those 4 players, ByuL, Stats, Journey and Gumiho, 1 will be able to advance. We're looking for the final player to qualify for the main tournament in Taiwan in November for MSI ByuL, and one of the 4 will be able to make that happen. Who's it going to be? We're going to find out. The winner of this goes up against the winner between Journey and Gumiho, and that will then be the last match of the day, which is also going to be a best of 5, whereas the semifinals in the losers bracket are both best of 3s. So, let's see who's going to take this first and also important map on Foxtrot Labs. Third base already started for ByuL, and we have the Protoss player just with 1 Zealot at the front, already spotted by the Overlord. Overlord sees everything and has laser beam blick view against the Overlord was actually watching the ass of the Zealot for a long time. I don't know what I should think about that, but yeah, buddy, you better be careful. So we have the expansion now done for Stats. Saturation started. Single sentry that we have for him. Double pylon here at the front, starting to block this off a bit. In the main base, the chrono boost on the harvesters. Of course, one of the questions is what kind of tech choice we're going to see from Stats in this game. ByuL is just droning it up, and on 3 bases playing this also without gas so far, so there's no speed, no nothing for him. He has Overlords and also a few Zerglings in position for the scouting, whereas we see for Stats the Forge started. No real commitment to any kind of father of like upper tech. We have him instead, just like with the Cybernetics core, no chrono boosts here either, so he's not going to try and go for some kind of gateway aggression, at least not with a particular timing. Doesn't know about the 3rd base yet either, but it's a pretty normal 3rd base for a Zerg player considering that there was a gateway opening. Well, you can delay a bit more. With the Forge opening it would have been even a bit faster, but here already had a quick look at what was going on there and decided that it's worth for him to really get that expansion out there, and why not? We have Stats just now with 2 additional gateways, and also with the Forge upgrade, the +1 attack. But with the gateways alone, that is also something where he can use those 3 gateways to apply some pressure. But with the Roach Warren and the speed upgrade now dropped for ByuL, he should be ready in time to really make sure that he doesn't lose a 3rd base to that. So even a Spore Crawler is here started, because ByuL doesn't really know what's going on. He had an Overlord in his opponent's base, but that Overlord didn't really see too much. Like, he had no idea what was, for example, here. He doesn't know if there's maybe some kind of commitment that allows stats to go in there with a starport and a couple of units. Instead, we see the Twilight Council now started, and with the Twilight Council and Chrono Boost on the +1 attack upgrade, we could definitely see a few blink shenanigans happening a bit later on. One of the things that you really want to have with that is, of course, a decent creep spread. That helps you a lot against early aggression. But a third base instead being dropped by Stats instead. So Stats will be able to go into the +2 attack upgrade with the Twilight Council that he has there. Third base has been spotted by the Zergling. The Zergling knows everything. I don't even think that Stats saw that the Zergling was there. So that would mean that he... oh, well, actually, was the Zergling attacked by those sentries? I don't even know. But yeah, that would of course help him put that off. Oh, there's a photon cannon, double gateway. Pretty nice wall here already, so that makes sure that all of those units here, the probe slater, will be kind of safe. Just tucked away in that pocket with a third gateway also on the way. Zerglings are being built, but that's not really something that he can utilize to really do a lot of damage. We instead have the fourth base now triggered by that move that we saw for Stats. So ByuL is just trying to out-macro his opponent, whereas we have Blink started for Stats, and he's starting to move out a bit. Double Phoenix down here. It's only an hallucinated Phoenix. Nothing more that he wants to do. And we have still creep being spread, so a pretty decent creep spread for now. Nothing like too fancy, but at least it allows him to also have a bit of creep spread up to the top so that he can use that for the extra speed, and he's already using that. Wants to move in, but there was a warp in for Stats. Army supply is still in favor of ByuL by 68 against 32. So to the left side, that expansion is still unscouted. Stats doesn't know about that. It's going to be the fourth base against him. Harvester count, we should point that out again, 50 against 62, so it's not going to be like a massive commitment here by Stats. He's willing to just recall it, but it looks like ByuL wants to just force him go home with those links over here. Not even chewing through the rocks just yet. Here we go. Sees that too, and still the scouting with the hallucinated Phoenix. Sees also the lair tech here. Speed upgrade for the Roaches is done, and Roaches are pushing this back. Once that upgrade is done, oh, here come the force fields. But yeah, burrows the links. I love this move. Getting burrow here without detection in the game just yet. The first observer is on the way, but that really saves his units a lot. And suddenly it's those rocks that are going to be taken out, and there's very little that he can do about it. Burrow can be utilized. He tries to move in already. Could use force fields there, but those rocks are eventually going to fall. And there's another army already moving straight towards that third base, and with only one cannon, that's not really a whole lot that defends this base. So we have still this one completely blocked off. He's trying to move in. Force field number 1 doesn't trap more than that. Down here, it is the Nexus cannon that is in place, and suddenly the Zerglings are rushing in. The blink has already been used. He's in cooldown. The Roach is closing the distance here. Time Warp being used, and he's pushing him back for now. But ByuL has a 60 supply lead, and he has that fourth base that he's using now for the additional larva. And he can once more just move in back there, kill a few more units. Very nice moves that we see by ByuL. Is just trying to get into a good position. He's using the choke point against his opponent, but the force fields, at least for now, are pushing him back. He could try and snipe that robotics facility, not doing it just yet. Another pylon is going to go down eventually, and he's really using these positions against Stats. That force fields might be able to trap those units, not quite, but we have another set of Roaches already moving over towards the third base, sniping the cannon here. It's Roaches, and Roaches. He kills one or two of the pylons too. Has still that second force to the left that's always trying to just force Stats back. It's very difficult for Stats to really split his units accordingly. Army supply is 116 against 62. Roaches to the left side. The reinforcement with Roaches and Zerglings are already on the way. And a very nice move that we see here by ByuL. I love how he's utilizing these units. Sniping now also the Immortal. Oh, a blink forward. He's going to kill all of that. There is detection, but the problem is he's going to lose a lot in the process. All of those warp gates towards the third base are currently being unpowered. Can't do anything with that, and he's losing Nexus as well. Very good moves by ByuL. I love this, how he's just using this against his opponent, moving to the right, moving to the left, splitting his army, taking down that third base. He himself is on 4, not saturating the fourth base just yet, as you can see, but we have him with the extra production thanks to it, and can always fall back and it without a problem whatsoever. No high attack for ByuL though. That's one of the things to keep in mind here as well. If he really wants to transition out of it, now would be the time to do it, but he's just getting more and more units, and he has a massive army lead. We're talking 130 army supply against 60, against 70 now after an additional warp in. But ByuL can do so much with this. He can just like drone up once again at this particular position here and saturate the 4th. He can do start additional attack, upgrades, +1 attack, that's all that he has, but Stats doesn't have too much either. He has the +2 attack upgrade and that's it. He's building more Immortals now, but at this point he only has 1 and that's not a whole lot, and we still have those 2 army sizes that are just trying to sandwich Stats. And Stats is on 2 bases. That's not really a lot of income against the Zerg player that has already 3 bases completely saturated and a 4th that he could saturate at any time in the game. And I guess by now ByuL is just thinking about how he's going to approach the next few minutes in the game, and he decides to just start attacking again. Go straight into the +2 attack upgrade. He can also, does he have burrow move? Yes, he has tunneling claws and he can use that to just tunnel beneath the force field, and he's getting his army together now. He wants to snipe another base. He could get this easy peasy. He can get it without a problem whatsoever, especially since the rest of the roads is already moving in as well. That Nexus is gonna fall if he wants it. The only question is, does he really want it? And yes, he's going for it already, and the rest of the roads that he has is now confronting the Stalkers, taking down one after another. He can trade easy peasy here. He has the income to do that. The Nexus is done, and that seals Stats' fate in my opinion. Even if the Stalkers are able to take down these units, I highly doubt that Stats will be able to move cross map and just take down ByuL, because that's the only thing that he can really do here. Army supply should now, for at least, oh, it's not even now in favor of Stats, 64 against 72, but ByuL, he has the money. Does he have the larva? That's the only question that we have here. Yeah, he should. Doesn't have it right now, but if the injects pop, he should be in a position where he can just throw this back, and we are talking about a 1-base Protoss player against a 4-base Zerg player. How much can he really kill with this? The Stalkers, they number 26, but here comes the rest of the army. Oh, goodbye Immortal and goodbye army. GG, ByuL taking game number 1 against Stats in the best of 3 series at the MSI ByuL qualifier. Merry-Go-Round is the second map in our Zerg vs Protoss, the semi-final of the losers bracket. Starting to the top right, we have ByuL in this second game in the best of 3. He's in the lead with a 1-0 against his Protoss opponent. Starting to the bottom, it is Stats. And, well, right now Stats needs to win 2 in a row. If he wants to advance, that's the only chance that he has. If he loses this best of 3, then he is out of the tournament. As the Canadians would say, he's out. And, well, let's find out if he can actually pull it off, because ByuL looked very, very dominant on the last map. If he can win another map, he is going to play in the winners match of the losers bracket. Well, the winners match, the winner, the final, the losers bracket final, I should probably say. And that is where he will have another shot of qualifying for the main tournament in Taiwan. The other loser bracket semi-final is going to be a Terran versus Terran, with Gumiho going up against Journey. Journey took down Maru, so it's going to be a very, very interesting game in my opinion. Gumiho is... I would definitely say that Gumiho is a bit worse than Maru in the TVT, but, well, we are getting ahead of ourselves. First of all, it's Zerg versus Protoss that we have to talk about. The expansion started first for ByuL. Once again, the opening with a gateway for Stats, not opening with a forge play here. Perfect scout with a probe to the top right, sees it immediately. Same is also true for the Overlord, by the way. Already moving down into the bottom, he's going to see that expansion in just a bit, and he will also realize that there is no forge started. So he shouldn't be too worried about the probe up here. Nothing that the probe can really do. It's just trying to look pretty and having a nice day, but yeah, there's nothing that the probe can really do in terms of damage or cannon rush action. That's of course always what you're worried about as a Zerg player when you see an early probe moving into the vicinity of your natural that has a pylon being dropped and then just like cannons being thrown down everywhere. But that is not going to be an issue for him. So right now what we have is spawning pool also started. ByuL is looking at his expansion without that being threatened at all. He has an Overlord down there spotting the Nexus, sees that the Nexus was also built before we have the Cybernetics core, as it was in the last game. Double gas also taken the main base just yet. And let's find out how Stats is going to play this. With everything that we see for ByuL, an early third base is going to be built for him as well. He sees that there's a delay on the Cybernetics core, and with that delay that we have, there is just no way for Stats to be super aggressive in the game and hit a very aggressive timing. So you can go for your third base. After all, you don't have to wait for too long. A lot of Zerg players in the past had to delay their third base for a long time, just because with the gateway opening you get the warp gate research so much faster that you can really put a lot of pressure under this with like 3 or 4 gates, but with a delayed cybernetics core, ByuL knows that this is not an immediate danger, so he is throwing down his drone or throwing it over to the base, getting the third at roughly 4 minutes and 20 for 30 in the game. Just a tiny bit slower than you would usually get your third base in case your opponent starts with a forge play, which is the more traditional version that we saw also at the end of Rings of Liberty a lot. We have double queen now started here for ByuL once again, without playing this without gas right now. Overlords just having a poke down here at the bottom. Zerglings might actually get in. I think they will get in. That Zealot is trying to protect, but yeah, he can't. The problem is, of course, that we have a Stalker already in the game, so the Zerglings won't be able to spot too much, especially not with the Mothership Core now also coming out. Didn't really see anything up here. So 2 Zerglings rushing into the base, but not getting any vision whatsoever. 1 additional gateway, 1 over here, so in total we have 3 gateways. Well, we will have 3 gateways in just a bit. Let's see how Stats plays it this time. He has 1 probe on the map that could drop a pylon here for the warp in. Talking about the warp in, do we have Chronos? Yes, we have a Chrono boost. Does he get another one on this? With another Chrono boost on that, and yes, he gets it. We have him now in a position where he seems to try and be a bit more aggressive, but unfortunate for him that probe was already spotted. He gets a forge in the main base, that is. But yeah, there's very little that he can do with the probe already being attacked, so it's not like he can drop a pylon and then be super aggressive against that third base. What's going on in regards to the gas? We have double gas now taken down here at the natural, so we should see speed coming in for him, and that would... yeah, speed would actually help him quite a lot. He needs speed. He needs speed, and rather sooner than later, especially with the pylon already building. Slow links against gateway aggression, well, good luck with that. And that speed upgrade is not going to be done in time. Neither will be the +1 attack upgrade. That's not even chrono boosted in the forge now. And there we go. We have Stalkers already on their way, only a few, but there's not a lot of army for ByuL. ByuL might have played this a bit too greedy. 22 Zerglings on the way. Does he have the army? That's the question. It's only slow links that he has to deal with, but that speed upgrade is nearly halfway done. Another round of warp-ins. Harvester count is 49 against 45. That's definitely applying some pressure right now. Definitely threatening his opponent, but that's a lot of Zerglings that we have already. That's 32, that's going to be 40 Zerglings in a bit. He will have to recall out. The creep spread alone is helping him, and that speed upgrade is going to be done in time. There's not going to be enough damage. You can really see that Stats is not even trying to. He's going to just try and just kill a few units here. A couple of Zerglings, maybe a queen, a few drones, but it's not something where he says like, alright, I'm going to be able to kill a base, I'm going to commit to this. Not at all. Like, he, back at home, builds that Twilight Council, goes into those additional upgrades. He knows that he is just going to recall it out. He's forcing units, and that's all that he wants to do. That's going to be the recall. Snipes 1 Stalker. There's at least 1 Stalker that he gets. I guess it's going to be a decent trade for ByuL in the end, considering that he also takes down a pylon. Didn't lose too much. It's more about him maybe pressuring that third base. That's the part that matters the most now, I guess. If he can force a cancel on this, and he will if he wants to. Yep, there's an attack over to the right side. All of the sentries out of position. There's the cancel. Okay, that was well done by ByuL. Once again, using the momentum that he had. Even a kill on the pylon, not a cancel. 4th base now even started already for the Zerg player. A very similar game to what we saw in game number 1. +1 attack upgrade on the way, burrow, speed for the roaches. It's very similar to what Stats had to face in the first game, but maybe he's going to be able to save his third a bit longer than that for now. But yeah, it looks like ByuL wants to be aggressive once again, and he already has 1 win under his belt, 1 victory. If he gets another one, then he will advance to the bracket final. Can he force a cancel? No, there's just too much sentry energy. Double Phoenix Scout here with the hallucinated Phoenix. There's also a lot of energy, of course, on the sentries that he's committing to that. A single Phoenix would also do the trick, I guess, but looks like he really wants to know what's going on and doesn't want to leave it up to chance. Speed upgrade for the roaches is nearly done. I think that ByuL is going to go for the same strategy that he had in the last game. Have 2 forces and running just over towards that base up here, threatening the cybernetics core, putting them pressure onto that, and then have another set of units rush towards that third base. It's going to get a bit tricky for him. He's starting to move in. Well, force fields, 3 force fields. Burrow is there. There's 1 observer building now. He's building that observer now. He's gonna go for that gateway. Yep, there's a cancel on the gateway already. What about the rest of the Zerglings? They are still in a position where they can attack the third base, even though there's one cannon being built. We have also 104 army supply against 59. Stats is just struggling against this, but here is at least the Observer that will negate that Burrow upgrade. And Photon Overcharge has already been used. The fourth base is ready for ByuL. Harvester count is 63 against 54. ByuL doesn't have such as much of an easy time as he had in the last game, but there's also no harvesting going on at the third base. The third base alone doesn't help you if you don't have harvesters over there, but the slide is there, the probe slide. So with the eco slide already done, he can just try and just bait those units out a bit more. And he's moving in. All the units in a pocket, and he's just baiting out energy. He's baiting out energy, he wants to go for it, but there's also one Immortal, and even more force fields now being used. And that's a lot of force field energy that he just committed to that. But force fields are already gone. What is he going to try and do? He's trying to move in once again. Sentries are being sniped right now. Zerglings are trying to get a bit closer to that cannon, but he can't kill it. ByuL is losing a lot here, maybe too much. The high ground, a great advantage that we see for Stats as he just blinks up, but he exposes his Immortal. This Immortal is going to die, but ByuL lost a lot of units in the process here as well. He killed the cannon to the left, but he didn't take down anything else. Can he kill that second Immortal? It looks like it. Yes, Immortal number 2 is down. Resources lost, better for the Protoss player. But the third base, can he take it? Not just yet. Third base is still alive. And also no Harvester killed down here, and by now Stats has a pretty nice army supply. He's actually looking at 50 army supply against 70. What he would really love to have are a few more Immortals, of course. Doesn't have any, but it looks more and more like ByuL just says, okay, I get it, I have to saturate my bases here. I cannot really take you down like this, but he's still one base ahead of his opponent. War Prism, great move, I love it. Stats is going for War Prism that allows him to put some counter pressure on going to that main base, but apparently ByuL isn't done yet after all. He looks for another opportunity to do damage here. Does he see the War Prism? Yes, he does. He sees the War Prism, he knows what's coming, and that is of course also half a victory already. Just knowing what's coming is going to help him. Burrow being used, and also the tunneling claws are putting into place. To the left side we have another attempt to dart in and do some damage. All the way up to the top here we have that Warp Prism. There are Roaches in position just waiting for units to being warped in. But over here Roaches are being sniped. I have to say that Stats is playing this so much better than he did in the last game. He's at 140 supply, and ByuL, interesting as it is, does not get more Harvesters. He's not saturating that fourth base. Army supply is 137 against 87 still. It's a massive, massive lead. Oh, and he goes for it. Is there going to be a recall? No, he wants to fight this. Force fields are there. A few of the sentries already gone. Zerglings rushing in to put more pressure onto the Stalkers. Blink can't be really used here because there's Zerglings and Roaches everywhere. He's completely surrounded. He's losing so much here. ByuL is taking one Stalker after another. Zerglings and Roaches everywhere, dashing in to take Stalker after Stalker out of the picture. There's no warp in just yet. He's still in cooldown on those gateways. Resources lost, still so much better for Stats, but he's losing a ton, and the reinforcements for ByuL, are they going to be there in time to save the rest of the Roaches? Doesn't look likely, but he also doesn't have detection here. He could use Burrow for now, and he's actually doing that as we speak. So most of the units done and gone for Stats, but he's an army supply half down, like it's 90 against 45. That's half the army supply that he has there. That trade was definitely better for ByuL in the end. He has that those additional bases. Here comes the Warp Prism right now, finally starting to apply some pressure. There's not really anything that ByuL can do about that. He could throw down a few Spines and Spores, I suppose. But down here at the bottom, what about Stats? Can he... Oh, that Zealot on hold position finally. God! The Immortals completely exposed, sniped right away. No chance for him to make anything happen with that. Counter aggression up here in the main base. The Queen blocking the Zealots off, and we have the Spine Crawler down here to the bottom. Stats is losing a lot of his units, but +3 attack upgrade has been started. A 5th base on the way now also for ByuL. ByuL with a constant aggression, Lynx and Roaches. That's what he wants to like throw up against his opponent. Yeah. Throw into the fight against his opponent, I would say. Throwing it up would look very funny. That's more of a Nidus network thing, I guess. Talking about Nidus networks, think about a Nidus network right there. Wouldn't that be sexy? But yeah, doesn't have that, can't really go for that right now. And well, we have the Warp Prism still going for the counter aggression here, putting pressure onto those bases, and in total he killed only 2 after 108 roaches died, 154 Zerglings, and the army supply is still 140 against only 90. But that +3 attack upgrade, that could change things a lot for Stats. ByuL isn't getting any upgrades any longer. He only has that +1 upgrade, that's all that he has, and Stats is now just moving back with the Warp Prism and looking at this base and like, whoa, holla die Waldfee, what the hell is going on here? Another base? Really? And the roaches are there to protect it too, whereas the rest of the army is moving down here, but 2 more Immortals are in the game. He can snipe them. He can snipe the first Immortal, at least that is. 1 is tucked away quite safely, but 2 safe. There's nothing that he can attack. 1 Immortal is already down. The other one doesn't contribute to the fight at all. Finally, he's close enough to hit a few of the roaches, but that also means that the roaches could move in and take him down. Another Immortal over here taken out. And ByuL, he just doesn't stop. Those bases are starting to run out of resources. Look at those mineral patches here at the main base and also at the natural. There's not a whole lot left. Well, we have 5 bases for ByuL. The 5th not saturated, but he has the drones over at this 4th base. And even though he's running out of drones or mineral patches in the main, he can just transfer those drones over. No problem whatsoever. How many Immortals were killed in this match? 6 Immortals so far. And it's just like the resources lost are just so close. 2,000. That's nothing this far in the game, especially if the Zerg player has more resources mined. But this army is still pretty sizable at 90 army supply against 140. What about the space to the left? How many sentries do we have for force fields? Only 1. That's not enough. And this is starting to still be very, very tricky for Stats. He doesn't have enough Immortals to really contest this. Here comes an army right from the back trying to snipe that Immortal. Units everywhere. Oh my god. Stats might have to recall out. He doesn't do it. He doesn't want to. The Immortal is gone. He warps in additional units. But that concave. ByuL just going through right away. Taking Immortal after Immortal. Showing no mercy against the Protoss player here. Stats starting to use the mobility with Blink and the Stalker speed, but he lost way too much there already. If you look at the resources lost, the gap even smaller now than it was before, and with Stats running out of resources in the main base completely, and also running very low at the main base. Just look at the natural, just look at those patches. They don't have anything left. He will rely solely on this base over here, and this is just not going to be enough against a Zerg player who's looking at 5 bases right now. That Warp Prism is just not going to do enough damage. He's killing a queen, and that's an... I mean, that's a nice effort, but in the end, what is he really going to do with this? We have 1 Zergling blocking the base over here. Roach is now even sniping the probe and also the pylon. It just looks like Stats doesn't really find an angle of attack here. Roach is moving back, and this army, he doesn't have the money to really build a bigger army, whereas we see 2,000 minerals and also a bit of gas just banked up by ByuL to go in again. He's moving in with the Lings, with the Roaches, with everything, putting pressure onto that 3rd, taking those sentries, and once the sentries are gone, there's just not going to be any force fields left. The last Immortal is dying as well, not as immortal as he was hoping for, and this base, if this one falls, then there won't be any income for Stats left, and that would be a game. And I think this is exactly what ByuL realizes now as well. He's sacrificing a lot of units to make it happen, and he's just killing the Nexus. 15 kills on the Nexus thanks to the Nexus cannon, but this base is gone. 1 Immortal in the game. Of course, ByuL lost a lot killing that 1 build, but now look at the income. The income for Stats goes down as he has nothing left. These 3 mineral patches are not going to help him, and we have still ByuL with all those mining bases for himself. Time is now working in his favor too. ByuL could win this with a 2-0. He should win it with a 2-0. We have Stats rebuilding desperately that Nexus that was just killed, but ByuL is just going to get another massive army. He gets a +2 attack upgrade right now. He could transition out of it. He can do whatever he wants. 2nd evolution chamber, double upgrades, tech into hive tech, getting another base, whatever he wants to do, he can do it. He's maxed out, and he is getting another bank. He has a massive army with 142 army supply against 70. He's doubling his opponent's army supply. Only 2 Immortals in this mix. The +3 attack upgrade, of course it helps, but it's not enough to make up for this massive, massive difference in army supply. And ByuL is just sitting there, is sitting tight all the way to the top left. That Warp Prism is still a bit of a threat, but it's not dangerous enough to make ByuL move back. He's going for it once again. He's gonna try and snipe at least that wall here, those warp gates. Moves back. Ooh, maybe with a perfect angle to get one of the Immortals. No, but the force field's baited out again. And the +2 attack upgrade is nearly completed now for ByuL. And he's moving in against those probes, killing a lot of them. He could actually go straight into the natural. That's exactly what he does. Sends a few units over here. The rest moves towards the third, and he is getting the angle that he needs. He snipes the first Immortal. There it is. It's a goner. And the second one is going to suffer the same fate. Bye-bye Immortal. Bye-bye Stats. Was nice having you in the series, but ByuL is just a bit too strong here. Stats is delaying the inevitable a bit more, but there's another base being built by ByuL. There's just so much that he can do now. He has the perfect income. He can get all of those upgrades. He has two, well, not really a big bank, but he can build that up in just a few seconds. Resources lost, 28,000 against 32,000. Looking down here at the bottom, it's the last mining base. There's nothing else left. No mineral patches here, no mineral patches down there. We have ByuL mining from this base, mining only from a few patches up here. Another base towards the left, and this one is going to supply another source of income, whereas he just can barrel down his opponent. He doesn't have to trade cost efficiently any longer. He just has to trade and force Stats into submission. As long as the Protoss player doesn't have a fourth base, there's no problem for him. He's starting to snipe this wall up here, putting his opponent again into a bad spot, burrowing underneath those force fields, going straight for it. Where's the detection? He has two, but there's nothing now. This is game. This is game, ladies and gentlemen. This is ByuL advancing to the losers bracket final. Congratulations. ByuL even sniping that Nexus apparently. The GG called. And with the 2-0, the Zerg player advances to face either Gumiho or Journey, which is going to be the second semifinal in the losers bracket of the MSI Beat It qualifier.